Oh.
What'd you think of this movie?
What did you think of it since you wanted to make this review?
I thought it was awesome. I seen all the other ones. I seen 28 Days Later. I saw 28 Weeks Later. And now I just saw 28 Years Later. But what the hell? Why didn't they do 28 months? That's a missed opportunity. And you haven't seen either of the first two movies.
You said I didn't need to see them before going to see this.
I mean, you don't. They're kind of anthologies in a sense where they don't follow the same characters throughout each movie. So what did you think?
It was good. I just wish that they had gone the way they seemed to be going.
What does that mean?
Well, my biggest issue was that I hate in horror movies or anything scary when they have really claustrophobic shots and you can't see stuff that's like this far from the character, and they always have a jump scare where it's something that's like this far from the character.
You mean like the weasel? When you go
and
into
it
the building
just
for the
screams
first
super
time?
freaking loudly for no reason. I'm like,
That one got me. I'm not gonna lie. I jumped at that one. That's like the only one though.
But the jump scares always make me jump because you know it's gonna happen.
But there was only like one or two in the movie.
Noise. But I just hate it. And also, like, if you're wandering through the woods, I want the wide shot, like, of your whole view, not the tiny little shot of you and the tiny tree next to you.
That's how you build suspense. It's called
But it's stupid.
It's filmic language.
Yeah, but then the characters are surprised by stuff that, in theory, they should have seen because you didn't see it because they were making it claustrophobic, so you couldn't see stuff. So
yeah, but that never happened. There was never a scene where they're doing close-ups like that, and then something jumps out from, like, a bush or something. That didn't happen in the movie.
Well, I just find it very annoying then, too, because I'm just like, I want to see more than the character and a little bit of background. It's just annoying. And it's such a cheap thing, too.
Yeah, but they weren't using it for that effect.
It's still cheap, though.
They were using it to be more intimate so you stay with the characters.
Well, if that's what you have to do for me to care about the characters, then clearly the characters are not developed or worth my interest. If I have to, like, be in their
I don't know what you're talking about. There were so many wide shots of landscapes and stuff.
Yeah, but whenever there are tense situations, there was a little thing.
Well, that's kind of the point. You're making it more intense by being like that. That's kind of how you structure scenes like that. You can't...
Yeah, but it just feels overdone where they create tension forcibly.
It's not forcibly. It's literally a technique. You can't be upset that it's a technique that they use to get the desired effect. Anyways...
But then the effect just feels like... I just feel irritated by it because I only feel stressed because I can't see, not because I actually am invested in the situation. That's
I think
my
you're focused on the wrong thing. You should be... I think you're turning your frustration towards the technique itself when you should... I don't know. I don't know how to word this, but I disagree with your frustration, although I understand it. Anyways, what else did you have to say about the movie?
I mean, it was good. Whoever created it was very good. The filming was good, apart from those unnecessary close shots. But I do feel like there were some things that kind of skipped, like, realism, like the dad spending the whole time staring in the same direction as the kid when, you're standing still and, there's other creepies around and you're not at all checking the scenery around you to make sure you don't get snuck up on. It just seemed unrealistic, and also just a bad technique to teach your kid. Be like, yeah, focus on one thing, don't look at anything else, and hopefully you just won't die because of something outside of your vision.
Okay, and
I don't like when they give us fake plot things where they're like, oh, it's actually this thing, and then they just change it, make you feel stupid. Like, why'd you give me all these hints if this is not what you're going with?
Okay, so immediately I was like, wow, this movie is fucking weird. Because it opens up and it seems like it's doing the same thing that 28 Weeks Later does, where, you have people in the beginning of the infection and it's a bunch of kids and stuff. And it's like, okay, these kids are probably going to die. They show the kids dying. You're like, oh, that's pretty crazy. But then they have like some goofy fucking music going on. I'm like...
And it didn't make sense too at first. I was like, it's been like 28 years since it happened. Why are you guys not better prepared? And I was like, oh, it hasn't been 28 years. But why was it not explained?
I was just perplexed by the tone it was trying to set. Obviously, you can't top the beginning of 28 Weeks Later because that's pretty much, the creme de la creme in terms of openings for the franchise, I would say. So I was thinking, okay, we're following this kid. Okay, his dad's a weirdo that thinks this is Judgment Day. Okay, he gives him a cross. Okay, got that. Are we going to follow the kid? And then, we're introduced to the actual characters of the movie and... you're looking around because they make it prominent that, okay, the gold cross. We got to be looking out for the gold cross. Okay, is the dad that we're following have the gold cross? No. Okay, so I guess I'll just put that in the back of my mind. And then we're introduced to this camp in Ireland 28 years later.
Was it Ireland?
Yeah, it was, or no, the Scottish Isles.
Highlands.
Yeah, the Scottish
where it started,
Highlands.
and then they didn't specify where the other one was. I don't think.
No, the infection didn't start in Scotland.
Yeah, but the first part said Scottish Highlands.
Yes.
And then they just were like, all right, now here's just a random island that we're looking at.
Yeah, so we're introduced to these the dad character, and he's got a kid and a sick wife, and him and his son are going out. And I did like the world building within the community where everyone knows everyone. It's like super intimate, super tight knit. Everyone knows everyone on a first name basis, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're going out."
The weird mask thingy that the guy had on sometimes. Was that explained in earlier movies, or did they just kind of have it?
That was just there. I don't know what the fuck the whole point of showing the kid with the mask was. Maybe that was foreshadowing for the Bone Kingdom to come later. I don't know. It could have just been a stylistic way to add kind of atmosphere or something. I don't fucking know what the point of that was. I mean, it was interesting visually, I guess. Anyways, yeah, so him and his son are going out on their first hunt, and the whole point of him taking his son out is that he wants him to get used to killing. And the leader of the village, the lady, she goes, "Oh, don't you think he's a bit young? Usually we send him out when you're 14, but he's only 12. And he's like, he's ready. He's a boss.
Yeah, they don't explain anything yet. He's just like, yeah, I think my son's ready. And I go,
yeah, it's very just full, whatever. We're going hard. We're playing it fast and loose. So we're going out, and then we're introduced to a new kind of zombie, some sort of bloater crawly zombie, which has never been in the movie.
They sound like a baby too, which is weird because if you're that big, then you should have a deep voice or make deeper sounds, but it sounds like a little baby crying.
And this is immediately where I'm perplexed because it's established that these people, they have a rage virus, and they're not special. They don't have any sort of special infection. They're just literally infected with just crazy fucking rage. So they're still susceptible to stuff like heat stroke and fucking dehydration and stuff.
And being cold.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, how is this infection supposed to survive 28 years later? This makes no fucking sense. And then you got these bloaty zombies crawling around. I'm like, how are they not succumbing to infections and all sorts of stuff?
Bloated?
And why are they eating worms? How does this make any fucking sense? Never explained. But yes, the kid is all hesitant to kill a zombie, and then, the dad kills a zombie. They come across this house, they go in the house. The shots of the alpha. They see the alpha, and these are some of the best shots in the movie. I mean, there's a ton of sick-ass shots in the movie, but the shot of
the zoomed-in shots of his crotch.
No, I like the silhouetted shot where it's very kind of Hammer-esque, like, old-school monster film, where it's just the fucking alpha just framed next to the tree, and it's doing like a time lapse. Dude, that shit was sick as fuck. That shit was so cool. Anyways, yeah, he's like, well, they're trying to venture forth, and he's like, oh shit, it's alpha. We gotta go hide. So they hide in a house, and then the kid sees a fire from a distance. He asks his dad about it. His dad's like, I don't know nothing about that.
It also makes no sense that they were chased by that group all the way to that house, and the alpha just was hiding, like sitting by that tree the whole time.
It is explained because the alpha was.
No, I get why he did it. It just spatially doesn't make sense because they were running through these woods and then they have a clear shot and he's like a view and he's right there, and it seems like they never went anywhere. They had that whole time when they were running away through the woods.
I don't know. That didn't bother me at all. I was like, whatever. Like, I can get past that in my head. But yeah, the alpha zombie's just kind of sitting there, and then a bunch of deer run by, and it collapses the house because it's an old building. And then they're running away, and then the alpha summons fucking infected birds or something, or he's waiting on the top of the hill because it's implied that he was waiting to follow them back to their colony, and he uses the infected birds to kind of get their location to follow them. And I'm like, wait a fucking minute. Now these motherfuckers are supernatural? Ain't no way that shit makes any sense. That's never been in
the screaming. My ears right here.
I'm not screaming. I'm getting excited. And then, yeah, we get a sequence where they're running, and then it just, has this crazy, beautiful shot for no fucking reason, where they're running on the causeway or whatever, and the galaxies are in the background. It's like, whoa, why is this so aesthetic? Why is this...
especially because it's established that it's just the UK where it's happened. The rest of the world has just gone on as usual, so you'd think that the sky would still be, polluted. But
that's another thing.
Pristine nature, apparently.
That's another thing I'll get to in a second. But yeah, they're running across the causeway. And, you know, well, they're not running. They're kind of just like taking their time or whatever, I guess.
Because they're waiting for the water to go down more.
Yeah, they're just chilling, and then all of a sudden the birds are in the background. You're like, oh shit! And then you just see just splashes of water, and then it cuts to the zombies. You're like, oh shit! This is intense. And then he's like, run! And they're running, and you see the splashes in the background. And they get closer and closer. You're like, oh, this shit's intense. This is the second intent. There's only really 2 intense scenes. It's this and when they're being chased to the house. And yeah, and then the zombie gets laid the fuck out by a fire crossbow. I was like, dude, that was sick.
It also doesn't entirely make sense that he was waiting for them to lead him back because he did not know where they came from. So it makes, like, how did he know if they come from
it's implied
a
that that's what he was doing, but then, yeah, I don't know.
And
it's
then
just
if he's that smart to plan, then does he really have a rage virus, or is he just, like, not a normal person?
I don't know.
He didn't seem angry. He was just like, oh, let me plan and strategize and then follow these sneakily. And then when it's the optimal moment, I'll chase after them. Not in an angry way, but in like, you know, Olympic runner kind of way where I'm just going to catch them and get into their village.
Because it's explained that alphas have a genetic mutation, or they have some sort of weird thing in their genetics where the rage virus gives them an increased intelligence and testosterone.
Yeah, but he didn't seem angry or, like, he just seemed like he was playing, like, it was the kind of thing you would do if you're at war with a different group and you're like, aha, I found my opening. It doesn't seem like, oh, angry virus.
Yeah, there's a lot of lore that just kind of doesn't make any sense. Anyways, going back a little bit to the zombies being shot, I'm going into the filmmaking aspects, where he's shooting the zombies in the hearts and the eyes, or the head and stuff, and it seems like what they did was they set up a tripod of some sort where it has 2 different cameras angled kind of like this, in the zombie being shit on in the middle right here, and then it seems like they did like a cut where it goes from this camera to this camera, which is something that they did for the Matrix. In the making of the Matrix, when he's all like, whoa, they put him in this orb, this globe of cameras and stuff, and they basically just edited in between all the cameras to get that cool, you know, little effect where they go around. And I think they did the same thing, and it was super cool. It was like, and there was like, oh, it was sick. And then the sound design. Oh my god, the sound design for this movie was freaking amazing, man. It was spectacular.
They really seem to like having the blood splatter stuff, although I think in theory if you shoot into a skull with a bow and arrow, the arrow would go in, but it probably wouldn't come back out.
It's
so
not,
you wouldn't have
no, the gore in this movie is not trying to be realistic. It's trying to be just gross and grotesque and over-exaggerated. That's what you need in a movie like this.
But I always just feel, I personally feel taken out of the, like, enjoying the movie and getting absorbed in it if there's unrealistic stuff, which is why it really bothers me when they have, like I was saying, the tight shots to force you to feel stressed. Like, if you did the story well, I wouldn't be paying attention to your camera shots, but if that's what I'm focusing on, then clearly you didn't build tension correctly, in my opinion.
Okay. I don't know.
And same with unrealistic stuff, too, because it's like, if it doesn't even look real, then why? Like, it's clearly fake, so I'm not enjoying it as much. I'm just like,
okay. You can't grade it for what it's not trying to do. You have to grade it for what it is trying to do. What is the point of filming something like that? Is to get a desired effect. If that was the intention and they executed it to a certain degree, did they live up to what they were trying to do? I would say so. The same with the gore. Like, they're not trying to do something realistic. They're trying to do something exaggerated, and I think they did that to a good degree.
I mean, I'm not saying that they can't do that. I'm just saying that for me, when I watch stuff like that, then it detracts from the story. Because if you're going to have it be unrealistic, then lean all the way into the unrealisticness, have that be a part of the story. But if you're having stuff that's realistic and then you just pick and choose what's not realistic, then it's kind of like, well, where's... meh.
I don't know. Anyways, yeah. Then they have night vision shots and stuff that are super cool. And then there's weird, like...
Those seem more like rage vision shots, honestly, because it was all red, which is not night vision, and their eyes were...
It was night vision because it was just like a stylistic way of doing night vision. And then they had weird kind of post or pre-war, like, footage interstitched between the kid and his dad going out. And I didn't understand it. We were kind of discussing that. I think it honestly... There might be some sort of thematic context going on there, but I think it was just a stylistic way to add kind of, you know, flavor to what the fuck was going on. I don't know. Danny Boyle has a habit of doing weird stuff like that.
It was good. I just think it lasted a little too long. Where it was like, oh, this is cool, it's cool. And it's like, oh, right, I get it. It's the same stuff.
Anyways, going back to where we left off. The kid goes back to the village, and they have a huge party for him, and the dad's like, oh, yeah, he was so sick. He was all like... And then the kid's like, "But you're lying. I actually missed all my shots. I mean, I shot one in the leg, but Dad, why are you making me out to be some sort of giant
Yeah,
slayer?"
they didn't explain why he did that either. Wouldn't it have been good enough to just, like, what's the point? So that then the kid has a false sense of, like he has to show off in front of other people or what? Like, I don't know. The dad just, I feel like, was not a very well developed character.
Then the dad sneaks off and is doing Infidelis Cunnilingus, and
it's implied. I feel like it's implied that it's not the first time that he's been, like, publicly sort of intimate with her, because the kid mentioned something about it to the sense where it's like, I don't think this is the first time that he's spent too much time with her.
Does the movie care? No. It moves the fuck on. And then the kid goes to his mom. He's like, "Mom, I love you. Like, my dad's a piece of shit. Your husband's a piece of shit. He's cheating on you. I can't tell you. You don't know." And then the dad comes up, and then he's like, "I'll kill you." And then he's like, "Oh, shit. I guess I'm a piece of shit dad or something." And then the kid sets a fire to a hut, putting everyone else at risk. And then you're like, what the fuck is he doing? This is like the first kind of plot thing.
And also taking, making it so that there's nobody watching the exit point from the village. So he, like, the fire, which is also the village supplies, which we already know are very limited because they had all those signs are like, only take if you really, really need. It's like, my mom's more important than everybody else in the village.
Yeah, and then decides to take his sickly mom out into the world after he just, like, had a series of failures of tests where he was unable to really be sure of himself in killing things. So he's gonna take his mom that is not capable of killing stuff. She's all demented,
and half the time she can't even get out of bed. So, like, that seems...
It's like, that's the first, like, real plot thing where I'm like, hold up a second. This shit is... What? Anyways, I was like, okay, whatever. I would not think about that because it's going to ruin my enjoyment of the movie. Then you get these sick kind of shots of Scotland. Britain, somewhere in Europe. And it's like, wow, this movie's so beautiful. Oh, this is awesome. And he's going to find the doctor. Oh, yeah, he has a discussion with his dad where he realizes his dad is lying to him about the doctor because he thinks the doctor's some sort of crazy guy because they found him putting bodies into fire or something all lined up. And the kid's like, "Oh, but he's a doctor. He must be able to help." And the dad's like, "Oh, he's crazy because he was laying on bodies in the line. Like, that's crazy. He even waved at us and told us to calm down." And we were like, "Huh, that dude's odd. I don't think so." So then it's like, that didn't seem like a good enough, like, if I saw that, I'd be interested, like, why are you lining these bodies up? If he would have just had a conversation, I think he would have found out he was a kind of interesting guy. But no, he's just like, "Oh, fuck that guy. I'm gonna write him off." So the kid thinks, "Oh, a doctor guy. Let me take my mom to go find out what the fuck is wrong with her." And it is implied because she thought she hadn't seen 28 Weeks Later, which has a plot thing going on with, like, someone having the sickness but being immune to it. That's what I was thinking at first. But then I was like, they don't...
She acted weirdly aggressive and kind of like she was sick and stuff, and we never see her legs, so I thought she might have even been, like, tied down and we didn't know. And it seems like the village doesn't know what's up with her. And, like, the dad seems to always have somebody in the house to keep an eye on her. So it really is set up to make you think that she has something going on with her. But no, she's just sick.
She just has cancer. So anyways, yeah. So kid takes his mom to go find the doctor, and then they come across inconsequential character built up for no reason, mildly, where it's like this Swedish... Yeah, there's like, you're introduced to this group of French people or something.
No, they're Swedish. I thought they were Danish at first.
His dad talks about some sort of French Foreign Legion or something.
No, he said that they were the patrol ships, so it's implied that Europe just has ships going around everything to make sure nobody's trying to escape, and I assume multiple countries from Europe are involved, but Dad just thought that one was French. So they must have been closer to France, but where they were, but they were Swedes.
Yes. So that plot line is introduced, and then they all get shit on by Samson. We come to find out his name. And it's just this one lonely dude. He ends up saving the kid and his mom, and then he's just kind of there to die, essentially. They come across a train where a fucking zombie is giving birth. We're introduced to the pregnant zombie earlier on where there's a shot of a bunch of zombies, like, flapping around in water. And I'm thinking, are they bathing? Because in the second movie, one of the zombies has some semblance of sentience where he's able to recognize his children after he's infected. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. So have they kind of mutated to understand that they need nourishment, that they need to bathe in order to survive. I mean, some of them were just flapping around. I don't know. It was very confusing. And
Especially since the first shot from above, they all looked super clean, and I thought they were like in an actual village with people just bathing, and then it zooms in and you're like, oh, they're dirty.
yeah, and then you're thinking, how did this zombie get pregnant? How does it... It just, like, put so many questions into my brain. Anyways,
Didn't she still have some clothing on, though?
Yeah.
So she might have been more recent.
Maybe.
But then it never explains, like, oh, there's villages.
Anyways, they come across the pregnant zombie in the train. The mom is all like, oh, give me hands. And then the pregnant zombie gives hands. And then I'm thinking, why are we watching a zombie giving birth? I don't want to see this shit, man. And then, she helps the zombie give birth. The fucking Swedish guy comes in. He's like, whoa, this shit's crazy. I'm going to shoot you. You better put the baby down. And then he backs up. Samson yeets his fucking spinal column out of his body. And then Samson's chasing... Actually, no. Samson goes over to the dead zombie lady after she gets got, picks her up, and it's implied that, oh, that's his, like, you know, his lady. And they have his baby now. So now he's going to go after them because they have his baby. He's about to shit on them, Samson, and then a fucking dart comes out of nowhere. You're like, oh shit, it's Ralph Fiennes. What is he doing? Why has he got blood on him? Turns out it's not blood. Turns out it's iodine. Turns out the infection does not like iodine. Or iodine. He says iodine. I think it's iodine.
They pronounce some stuff weirdly there.
Anyways, yeah, so Ralph Fiennes' character comes and saves him, takes him back to his village, and kind of explains stuff. Finds out that the kid's mom has cancer, and honestly, this is probably the best little montage or section of the movie where he tells the kid, do you know what memento mori means? He's like, no, I don't, you know. He's like, ironically Latin, you know, it's a dead language. He's like, you know, remember that you die, you know. And then he's also like, memento amoris, remember to love. And then, you know, gives him the morphine dart, and then takes his mom, gives her the morphine dart, kills her, gives him the kid his mom's skull. He goes and puts it, faces at the sun. I'm all sitting there trying not to cry. I'm like, damn. It's got the 6 shots of, like, you know, above the Bone Kingdom with, like, the swirly flames and shit. I'm like, damn, this shit's fucking hitting. And then also I had my I had my question answered.
Your eyes smelled.
Yes. Because originally when I was following I heard that they were making 28 Years Later, I was like, fucking finally. And then originally it was called Bone Kingdom, 28 Years Later Bone Kingdom. I'm thinking, why is it called Bone Kingdom? And then, you know, they get rid of the Bone Kingdom
clearly
title.
The zombie's bone.
No, thank you.
How else did she get pregnant?
So they removed that subtitle, and then I'm thinking, okay, why? There's got to be some semblance of why they added Bone Kingdom. He takes them, you know, where they find he's burning all these bodies and building fucking bone structures, which is so sick.
They never explain how he manages to get enough fire, like, to make enough fuel to make the fire that freaking hot.
They never explain how he gets all his resources. Does he synthesize the iodine? How's he getting food? How's he getting water?
Morphine. How has he not been killed yet? Because he doesn't seem to have a house or anything. He just kind of, like, spends his nights twiddling thumbs in the middle of all the bones.
Yes. So, anyways, we get this touching moment, and then you're thinking, okay, that's probably the end of the movie. No, they're being chased by fucking Samson. He has like a little hatch. They hide in there, and then, you know, Ralph Fiennes is about to get shit on. The fucking kid saves him with the morphine dart, and he's like, I think you should go. And then Ralph Fiennes is gone from the story. You're like, okay, I guess, okay. Turns out the kid, he gives the kid to the infected baby. It's not infected. Who knows? He gives it to the community, and then with the little message, and he says, Dad, fuck you. Don't come find me. I'll find you when I'm ready. Basically, he went to go get milk, and
baby went to go get milk this time.
Yeah, and then you're thinking, okay, so the kid's just gonna survive on his own.
Yeah, but it makes no sense where the first time he seemed like he had not many survival skills, and he's like, I'm gonna take on the wild and I'll win every time.
Fucking crazy. And then also kind of like, what the fuck's going on with Samson? It's implied that Samson is going after them because they have his kid, but then that doesn't really go anywhere. Samson just disappears from the story as well. Yeah. And then the kid, you know, he's killing some zombies, and then he gets stuck. He's like, oh shit, what do I do?
Although,
and then
if you think about it, if they're setting up for another movie, the last time we saw Samson, he had his hands down, like through two little holes in the dirt was conked out, so maybe the doctor dude was like, ooh, handcuff and experiment. With those random medical things that I mysteriously have access to, and I don't have access to actual medications that you guys need.
I don't know. Anyways, the kid gets stuck, and then finally we get the appearance of the kid from the beginning of the movie with the gold cross, and it's like, okay, so we're having like a third fucking ending, or is the movie just gonna leave off on a cliffhanger? What's going on? And then all of a sudden, the fucking tone is just shifted. There's fucking ninja Swedish people jumping out, doing front flips and back flips and fucking slaying zombies all out.
Were they Swedish or were they just wearing weird blonde wigs?
Who knows?
Like
they got
wigs.
jumpsuits and shit, and they're fucking sawing zombies' heads off and shit with some crazy music. It starts off with like goofy kind of, folky, pokey music, and then all of a sudden it's metal, and it's like, what is happening? And then he's like, what's up, kid? And then the movie ends, you're like, what the fuck just happened? And it just like, it definitely feels like they set this up to have some sort of TV series or another movie or something, or maybe this is a part of a trilogy or something, because there's so many kind of plot lines left unanswered. What happened with Ralph Fiennes? What happened with Samson? The dad, he's angry. He wants to go find his kid. The kid, he finds this new group with the kid with the cross. What? There's so much stuff.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been better if they'd focused on the movie they were making instead of setting up for potential movies that they could make.
Yeah, it just felt like there were so many kind of plots that kind of just didn't really connect together. It was weird. I mean, because it bothered her way more than it bothered me, because I was just stunned by the filmmaking. I thought that, like I said, the visuals and the cinematography and the sound design and honestly the pacing. There was never really any dull moments aside from when the Swedish army character was introduced. That was the only point in the film where I'm like, okay, can we pick this shit the fuck up? What are we doing here? Other than that, the editing and the pacing was
Yeah, it makes no sense where they show him escaping and then at some unknown point in time later, he meets up with this other group of people, and he's like, I don't know how any of the zombie stuff works. Well, you survived this long. You must have some kind of sense of what definitely does or definitely does not happen.
And it also puts more fucking questions into what's going on, because he has, like, a phone and shit, which is like, okay, so wait. There's parts of the world that are developing normally, and then there's just parts of the world that just have zombies and shit. Like, how... It doesn't explain any of this.
Didn't you... Like, the intro part said that essentially it broke out the virus in the UK, and then Europe quarantined the UK, and they managed to keep it from entering actual mainland Europe, so it's just the UK that's infected. I guess the rest of the world just went on and
no,
didn't do
because
any
in the
research.
end of 28 weeks later, they all fucking break out into Paris.
So I guess they just were like, oh, I'm just gonna forget about that.
What the fuck? Yeah, honestly, they need to do more kind of elaboration on what the fuck is going on with the rest of the world. That would be kind of interesting, kind of, maybe it never affected the US, and the US are just looking over there like, that's crazy. That would never happen here. And then boom, we got COVID 2.0, and everyone's dying from rage virus. That would be crazy. Let's see that. I want to see that. Yeah, all these entitled Americans getting shit on.
I want to see Idiocracy too.
Yeah, you could do a sequel where it's both 28 weeks later and Idiocracy 2. That would be sick. Oh, in space! Oh! Someone write that. Someone do that movie. In space, though.
No more sugar for you.
Okay, anyways, what are your overall thoughts on the movie?
I mean, it was good. It's just, it being good did not keep me from seeing the issues with it, and I personally would not recommend investing your money to go see it in theaters if you don't need to.
Really? I would say go watch this shit in the
Unless you can
theaters.
get like a $5 ticket or something. I was also put off by those nasty ass people at 11 a.m. in the morning eating movie theater popcorn with their mouths wide open. Ugh, I don't want to hear it. It was gross.
She gets ticked off by the strangest things.
Isn't it gross though? I don't want to hear the sounds of you masticating fake butter popcorn. Especially early in the day. Like, at least keep it for later in the day when you have to deal with the day already and you have an excuse for having gross stuff.
No harm, no foul. That shit don't faze me.
My ears are harmed, and it was foul.
I would say this movie is worth seeing. If you're someone that is...
Yeah, but is it worth spending money on if you're not personally interested?
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure, yeah. I mean, there's... Yeah, I would say yeah. It's enjoyable. That's kind of the whole point. Was it entertaining? Absolutely. Did it have some really crazy cool moments? Absolutely. Was the story and the plot the best? No, but was it entertaining still? Yes. Were the visuals fucking sick? Yes. Was the gore fucking good? Yes. Shit, man. I think the good outweighs the bad on that.
Yeah, but again, is it something where seeing it in the theater actually is that different from seeing it at home?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
How? At home, you're comfortable. At home, there's nobody eating popcorn. At home, you can pause and go to the bathroom because my bladder's about to explode.
I don't want to do all that shit. I want to watch this shit in the movie theater with strangers. I want to be experiencing something that's communal with people that I don't know.
Well, see, that's the thing. For me, it wasn't one of those movies where I feel like it was improved by being there with random strangers.
I think every movie is improved by being there with random strangers.
See, like, for Barbie, that was nice, because the whole, of course it was also packed, and everybody was in a better mood at the time. But that was one of those things where, like, you feel like the whole crowd feels the same way as you about stuff, and you just feel this unity. And with this, it was kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, we saw the same thing, but we're probably not thinking the same things about it. So
that's what's cool about it.
Place.
That's what's so
Yeah, but
cool.
I don't feel like it links me to those people. We just happen to be in the same place, but we don't have anything. Like... We're in the same place, but we're not in the same space.
I think that's cool shit. Anyways, yes. Where would I rank this in terms of the franchise? Honestly, it's hard to say. I could see people seeing it as their favorite movie. I think this franchise is consistent within quality. I think they all offer something different. I think the first one is obviously... Oh, God, it's so good. It's probably the... it might be the scariest aside from the intro for the second movie. The second movie definitely has the best zombie action stuff going on. The first one definitely has the best atmosphere. This recent one has the best filmmaking, I would say, aside from the story and plot.
It did have some beautiful shots.
Yeah. It was borderline experimental in a lot of areas, which I was really kind of ecstatic to see in a high budget horror movie. I don't even know what the budget was for this movie.
And none of the visual effects looked fake or anything. That was good, because that is irksome.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the deer did not look fake. That was good. That would have been very distracting to see CGI looking deer running through stuff.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Check this shit out, man. Don't check this shit out. That's what she said.
Agreed, don't check me out, but...
She says, wait for it to go to streaming. I say, hey, if you're looking for a good, gory time and you know, something where you don't have to commit too much kind of brain energy to, you can kind of turn your brain off a little bit. You'll still get something from it.
If it was free, I'd say, yeah, sure, go see it in, theater. It's cool and stuff. But I'd rather just spend the money on, like, a donut or something. I don't know.
I say it's a good movie to go see with your homies. You'll see a lot of Jason Momoa floppy cock all over the place.
Was it him?
It looked like him. I would not be
He
shocked.
had blue eyes, and he looked kind of like a reconstructed Neanderthal, so I'm not sure. I think they were trying to make him look more primitive.
Well, that's something for you and your homies to laugh about. Just giant testosterone, floppy cock, just...
He ain't a grower.
And if you want to watch it with your girlfriend, she might not be pleased with a lot of the elements, but she'll still be entertained. And if you want to watch this by yourself, you'll be pleasantly entertained.
Yeah, it didn't feel cheap at all. It just felt like I personally would have made different decisions if I were in charge, but I was not disappointed by seeing it.
Well, there you go. So overall, that means check that shit out, man. Support your
local theater, which is totally local and has nothing to do with large chains throughout different places.
Let people know you want to watch movies. Let people know you don't want the theaters to go away.
Movies. We won't.
I want movies.
Nothing. We want to sit and stare in silence.
I want movies. Let's bring back drive-ins. Woo! Okay, have a good day.